Hey guys, this is Rafi from RR Racing. We got this beautiful 991.1 Carrera S here for a supercharger kit. And now that the customer Rick added about 200 horsepower to this thing, naturally he wants to upgrade the suspension as well. So let's go around the other side of the car and I'll show you some features of our new coilover. So starting from the back, we got our coilover conversion kit on already. And the kit consists of an upper spring perch adapter, which gets pressed onto the OEM top plate. The new spring, which is a hypercoil made in the USA. In this case, it's a 600-pound spring because we want to have sufficient rear damping for the added downforce that he has. He has an aftermarket spoiler on this car. And we have an added helper spring on the bottom, as well as a coil adjuster here, so you can adjust the height, corner balance the car, etc. Let's move on to the front suspension. So moving on to the front suspension, we got the coilover conversion on here as well. Same thing as in the back, we got the hypercoil main spring up here. We have a spring coupler and a hypercoil helper spring down below with this adjustable spring perch for height adjustment. The one really unique thing about our coilover conversion that is a feature that others don't have is that if you look at the original spring setup, you'll see that the original spring mounts to the body of the car. So this is the original top plate and this is the original spring. When the original spring goes through the motions of the suspension articulating up and down, it literally bends. And it bends to accommodate that angle change of the shock absorber. So one of the disadvantages of that is that when the angle changes and when the spring bends, it imparts a lateral load onto the shock. Absorbers generally don't want to experience lateral loads. They want to experience as much of a pure axial load as possible, so as to be as responsive as possible to undulations in the road, bumps, doing the things that a shock absorber should be doing. So if you look at, for example, at the GT3, the GT3 has articulating upper plates. And what we mean by that is that the upper plate does not allow the spring to bend as the suspension articulates. It accommodates that articulation with an upper bearing. So you can see here that we can accommodate any of those angle differences as the suspension articulates. And we accomplish that by having a very low stack height so that we don't reduce any suspension travel. And of course, this upper camber plate allows full camber adjustment. So on the street, you can easily reduce camber. When you go to the track, you can easily increase camber. You don't want to drive all the time with that increased camber because that's going to wear out your inside of your tires. So you have that option and you can easily make those adjustments. And that's pretty much it. One other option with our suspension is this front caster bushing. And this bushing goes right here on the lower control arm. And it allows for adding more caster angle to the front suspension and also to reducing deflection. The stock bushing is made out of rubber, so naturally will deflect quite a bit. So by caster angle, we mean this angle of the shock absorber. The more inclined this angle is, the more caster you have. And one of the benefits of additional caster is it gives you more weight to your steering, which gives you more steering feedback as well. The other benefit to having more caster is when you turn the wheel, you will gain more camber as your wheel turns. So you don't have to run as much static camber when you're going in a straight line, which improves braking. So this is another option that our coilovers are available with. So now that we have the coilovers installed, the next step is we're going to put the wheels back on and we're going to corner balance the car. So our customer told us he weighs about 200 pounds. We're going to put a dummy load in the driver's seat of about 200 pounds. And we're going to go through and basically show you how we corner balance the car with these height adjustable coilovers. All right, so now we got the coilovers on the car. We adjusted the height equally on all corners, and then we put the car on our scales, on our 4-point scales. We also have about 200 pounds of brake rotors in the driver's seat to simulate the weight of the owner of the car. So initially, when we ran the scales, we found that there was about almost 90-pound difference between the cross weights, meaning that the left front and right rear combined weight was about 87 pounds more than the right front, left rear. By adjusting the coilovers on each corner, we were able to get that down to only 3-pound difference. So I don't know, I'm not sure if it will show in the video, but our cross weight percentage right now is 50.1%. And what we've achieved here basically is a car that will behave similarly when turning left or turning right. It will also be more balanced under braking as well. And this is one of the advantages of converting to a coilover, adjustable coilover like we just did.